Luke Inman back at it in the eDraft.com studios today, getting you caught up on TCU linebacker Paul Dawson. Now, last week I broke down another linebacker, Shaq Thompson, and when I turned on Dawson's tape, it was scary how similar of qualities these two share in the fact they're both smaller and undersized for the position in the NFL. They both win in a similar fashion, the way they use their superb agility to slip around would-be blockers, and much like Thompson, Paul Dawson has incredible football instincts as he always seems to be around the ball and in the backfield making a big-time play, much like his team leading 136 tackles and 20 tackles for loss would suggest. Let's jump to the tape. We'll show you this and plenty more. TCU linebacker Paul Dawson. 136 tackles, 20 tackles for loss, and 4 interceptions earned Paul Dawson the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year award. Dawson wears number 47, so keep your eyes peeled for his jersey throughout this video. At just 6 foot even, 235 pounds, Dawson showed at the Combine he isn't the most athletically gifted player when the stopwatches are ticking, but what Dawson lacks in God-given talent, he makes up for in spades with outstanding instincts, long arms, and incredible agility, which, as we'll see, he uses to slide around would-be blockers to knife into the backfield and make the play. Dawson is constantly moving downhill with the intention to hurt somebody as he aggressively attacks the line of scrimmage with authority. What makes him stand out from other two-down thumpers, though, is his keen and unique ability to understand the play before it develops. You can't teach that. Dawson shows incredible timing of the play and snap count, helping him stay one step ahead of his opponent and putting himself in the best position to make a play in the backfield. I mentioned Dawson's awesome agility, and to go along with it, he shows off great flexibility and light feet with a spring in his step. Why is this important? Watch here how Dawson is able to slide around his blocker at the last possible second, forcing them to whiff completely and get left in the dust. Dawson shows off this impressive skill set more times than not, as it allows him to run free and make a play in the backfield. Now, anytime a guy drastically underperforms at the Combine and posts a sluggish 40 time, there's cause for concern. But as we all know, there's stopwatch speed, and then there's football speed. Here's Dawson running sideline to sideline to help make the tackle, showing he can keep up with quicker, speedier running backs when the play demands him to do so. Here, Dawson can't make the play initially around the edge, but he shows off his speed to catch back up with his speedy tailback, and more importantly, even though it goes for a big gain, Dawson displays his relentless motor and never give up attitude to save a touchdown. Now, while Dawson didn't post many sacks during his career, that doesn't mean he isn't an effective blitzer. As an agile and aggressive linebacker, Dawson makes it so tough for linemen to pick him up when blocking, as he's able to get skinny at the line of scrimmage. And while he may not have explosive acceleration, when Dawson does get up to full stride, he shows off outstanding pursuit and closing speed, often forcing quarterbacks to a frazzled and inaccurate pass. Instinctual linebackers like Dawson are able to adjust to the play quickly. The moment he recognizes his man is staying in to block, Dawson turns on the jets and attacks the quarterback, always making sure he is affecting the play whenever he's on the field. I was worried when I turned on the film as to what kind of cover linebacker Dawson would be. For the most part, I came away pleased as he has just enough athletic ability to cover running backs and tight ends out of the flats, and more impressively, shows a great sense of timing when to attack and when to get physical with his receiver, often frustrating his opponent with his aggressive style of coverage. Put it all together, and you've got a linebacker who thrives off his football senses and instincts. Dawson is extremely confident in his style of play, as he should be, as a player who is always around the ball and has a knack for creating splashy plays like tackles for loss, forced fumbles, and interceptions. I make it sound like he's a lock to be a top 5 pick and future Hall of Famer, don't I? Actually, Dawson may not even be drafted in the first round altogether. While he thrives with agility and sliding around blockers, when Dawson is asked to take a lineman head on or gets locked up, he does not possess the strength to hold his ground or the point of attack, and far too often and far too easily gets pushed around. His habits of dancing around blockers and taking dicey angles puts him in vulnerable situations and will lead him to being washed out of the play completely, exposing his gap assignment and leaving his teammates to clean up the mess. Remember that aggressive style of coverage Dawson displayed earlier? Well, it can just as easily work against him as you see here. Dawson gets way too touchy and grabby, especially when he's put himself in a position to get beat. Doesn't matter what level of ball you play at, plays like these get called for a penalty every time, and is a concern when forecasting him in the NFL against far superior athletes. Well, as we saw, Dawson has incredible instincts and football awareness he uses to thrive at the linebacker position, as it allows him to play fast, aggressive, and downhill. With his agility to bend around blockers and make plays in the backfield, Dawson produced big-time numbers to go along with his Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year awards. Dawson plays fast and is more fluid than his combine numbers would suggest. More importantly, though, Dawson is a hard-nosed player that plays with a tough football demeanor. However, on top of his sluggish and head-scratching numbers in Indy, it's been said Dawson has an attitude problem and just lack of respect and enthusiasm off the field and in the film room. How much of that is true, I can't confirm, but it certainly has a big part to play in him being projected now to slide out of the first round. Stay tuned for another prospect video breakdown coming soon, presented by eDraft.com.